the pit bull thing reminded me. One of the games that were proposing in that Roman gladiatorial show was they were like, we've brought in 20 midgets from Persia, and we're going to set them against an equal number of pit bulldogs. And he was like, the guy was like, interesting. But this is a large affair. This is very important. We need something with more gravitas. And he's like, well, we have some red-assed baboons.
That we will also make fight midgets. And it's like, this guy is just a one-track mind.
They were gonna women, like human women with the red-assed baboons. And he was like, I don't think my brother's into that sort of thing. I don't think that's really his style. And then he's like, well, we also have a ghost lion. And it's like, dude, why don't you open with ghost lion? You have a giant albino African lion. Like, start with that. You started with
that guy's got 40 Persian midget slaves burning a hole in his pocket, and he's trying to get rid of them.
No
dude,
one would buy the midgets.
20 Persian midgets versus 20 pit bulldogs. Like, what's that? Like the teaser for the fights? That's going to be over in no time.
I think they arm the midgets a little, maybe armor them, maybe give them sticks or clubs a little.
Ooh,
so
that's more fair.
You wouldn't want them barehanded. Like, you'd want them to put up a bit of a fight, but obviously, the pit bulls are going to win unless they really rally. What if they formed a tiny little phalanx?
Ooh, I'd like that. And I hope that's in the show.
Yeah. The show's fun because the one brother's like the warrior brother, and the other's like the gay artsy brother. And the warrior brother is like banging the queen of the Jews. Like, he conquered Jerusalem and took their queen as his concubine. But they're like kind of in love. So the gay brother makes a Roman game, like this thing they're going to do. He's like, build the city of Jerusalem, and then we'll burn it down. And then we'll have the women and children Jews flee out of the burning Jerusalem model, and we'll set the lion upon them. And so
the emperor's like, I'm really more into like the sword fighting. Like, if you could keep it to that. You're trying to sell me midgets and Jews fleeing. Give me swords.
It was pretty dark.
Tell me more about these Jews.
Give me more of those guys with the tridents and the Ready Arius. Is that what it's called?
They set 3 Ready Arius.
Wait, what is this? I can't be the only one who does.
You have a trident and a net,
trident,
and you wear a specific helmet, and you also have a short sword. It's a type of gladiator. So what they would do, it wasn't just like,
they had a trident.
So a gladiator means that's your combination of weapons and armor.
Yeah, there were classes of
almost
them.
like a class in a video game. Like, all right, you're the Ready Arius guy. You're like the fisherman mock-up warrior man. You have a trident, and you have a net, and there's a specific helmet, and you also have a short sword. And so they set 3 of those guys onto one giant champion guy. That was a cool fight. They have this giant for the show. I don't know who he is, but he looks like he's 7 fucking feet tall. He's enormous.
Is he a Ready Arius? Or a Murmillo? I remember that one. That's also in Age of Mythology.
He's a Thraex, I think. If I had to, because he has a helmet kind of like that. Oh no, the Samnus. That's exactly what he is. Because he has a sword, he has a shield like that and a big fucking helmet. Although his sword is like this curvy thing, like the 3X in the top row.
Oh,
I feel like
it baffles me that you guys know these words.
We don't. I'm just reading.
Well, you knew Ready.
Yeah, but you don't. You were never reading your book of Gladiators and been like, net guy. That would have been me.
Yeah, I've
like
definitely read
kid stuff.
Everybody identified with net guy.
Dude, leave this up, Zach. Look at I feel like most practically the Secutor, the Murmillo are what I'd want to be. But look at the scissor guy at the bottom. That's pretty cool. He's got some sort of hook on a metal arm.
The scissor guy?
He can either like punch that into you or hook it around your weapon and like pull it.
His arm has been replaced with a gauntlet.
Yeah, he's got a giant metal gauntlet with a hook. Like a
I would hate to have to fight in a fucking arena. I want to be in the viewing audience for that shit. That would be terrible.
I'd be so nervous, I'd be killed.
I think those tiny shields would be a problem. The shield needs to have some mass to deflect a blow. Like
dude,
the Gallus, that little one in the very center. If you hit me hard with the sword like that, it'd only be a little bit different than hitting me directly on the arm.
Listen, man, these matches can't last forever. I mean, come on. we got the Lions coming next. We got.
I was going to say the Bestiarius looks like the worst, but that's clearly what they're just doing to people when it's like that guy has to fight a lion. You get a big spear and shorts.
If I could fight any of these, it'd be top right because that's a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take on the Gladiatrix.
By the way, I'm under the
Without a
impression that
weapon,
I can.
could take that chick.
Now,
I
is
don't-
Laquarius that type of gladiator or that guy's name?
Oh, very funny, Taylor. Very funny. Aquarius delivered my groceries yesterday. He's a nice guy. He didn't have
brought
the
him
spear or anything though. He was just he wasn't
wasn't ready for battle in the arena.
No, he had shorts on and a hat.
Oh damn! No cool mask.
No, those people the most recent thing I'm watching is Rome. I just finished it. It's a real pity that show got canceled because
Would you
tell
recommend it? I have it on my list.
Yeah,
it's good.
I definitely recommend it. So it's 2 seasons. You'll tell that things advance quickly. So we'll talk a lot. We'll have Julius Caesar and Caesar Octavian, and everyone's in a room. We're talking about the war. Oh, big war with Egypt coming up. And then they're like, all right, let's fucking get them. And then the next scene, the ships of Egypt are burning in the ocean. And it's like, war over, bitches. Now it's time to divvy up Egypt. Like stuff like that'll happen. So they'll
sex and violence, right? Lots of it.
So much torture, violence, and nudity. And I wouldn't say the fight scenes are particularly good. They're just okay. But I really like the characters, and it's an accurate telling of like what Roman life was like. Like when you see the interiors of the houses, apparently, the way the streets look, especially the way they dress is true to form historically. And while the characters are doing silly things, they're doing the broad points are all historically very much true. Like, yes, Caesar did stay in Gaul until 67. And then he came down into the peninsula and this happened on this year. And yes, Caesar Octavian was the one who was part of the triumvirate with Mark Antony and et cetera, et cetera. Like that's all accurate. But the characters of Pullo and Lucius Vorenus are real people with fictional stories that are fun to follow along. Pullo is like the big brute of a guy that you always want there if someone needs a killing. It's there's characters like that in lots of shows. I really like the guy in The Expanse. That he's short, but he's real fucking ripped. He's the psychopath on the and if you're in trouble, if there's a scary man around, it's like, oh, don't worry, he's here. Don't worry, we got the scary guy now. He's our
scared of
guy.
you. This guy's scary.
Pullo is so scary. I'll just spoil a tiny part. You won't know when it's coming probably, but he has an interaction with a guy, and the guy's like, "We don't have to fight here today. No one has to die, Pullo." And Pullo goes, "You're right." And they shake hands, and Pullo headbutts him and then grabs him and pries his mouth apart with both his hands, bites the man's tongue out in front of all of his men, spits it at him, and then charges into them with his sword, and all of his men follow in behind him, while the main guy lays there choking on his blood because he just got his tongue bitten out. It was so awful.
Oh, shit.
I was just like, that's the most hardcore thing I've seen in a minute. That was pretty rough. And then later on, I
forgot about that scene.
Some other characters asking him because they're catching up. Been years since they've seen each other. Hey, what happened? Well, we had a big fight. Yeah, what happened? Well, I pretended like I was going to agree, and then I headbutted him and bit his tongue out. And he goes, "You bit his tongue out?" "Sure did. Tasted like chicken." And they laugh about it. It's great. I love that.
It'd be hard to bite my tongue out. I feel like I'd pull it in.
Well, yeah, I feel he's really getting in there. Like he gets up, one hand on the bottom teeth and one hand on the top teeth and pries the guy. And he also is a bit concussed from the headbutt, so he gets in there. It doesn't seem like the first time
he wouldn't have tried that shit with Taylor. He wouldn't have lost the headbutt battle and then tried to pry his jaw open. Good luck with that.
Oh, I'd have gotten fucking 8 fingers as a snack.
Just spitting fingertips at him.
You're fucking with.
Just would have destroyed him. I told you, yeah, my dentist is blown away by the size of my masseter muscles. He said, "You have the largest masseter muscles I've seen on someone," like, which is the jaw muscles, because I spent my entire childhood and adolescence up until like 27, 28 years old, grinding our teeth so hard in the middle of the night that they just got big.
So I bet there's somewhere with a bite force measurement system. I've seen those. It would be interesting.
Try it.
Yeah.
My teeth are fake though, so I wouldn't want to go all out biting it. I don't want to break my teeth.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, hopefully it's like squishy, like a
Oh yeah.
Mouth guard. You know, you would bite hard with a mouth guard, like a hockey mouth guard.
Yeah.
Do you think that would do well at an arcade? Like instead of the punching machine, the biting machine?
If you win, you get 100 tickets at Hep C.
It's like, this game is disgusting. Like
because historically, if you weren't at least good at something as a man, you probably weren't going to have any children and pass your DNA along for one reason or another. You had to be good at something. But as a lady,
yeah.
Are you there?
I saw women complaining about men competing in their sport. They said it was absolutely unfair and that we can't, like, if this trans woman, you know, born a man, now a woman, is competing against us, it's not fair. But that sport was fishing. And I'm like, why are men better at fishing? Why do women think it's not even fair to compete against men in fishing?
Not even close how much better men are at fishing.
It was freshwater fishing, mind you. It's not like they were catching giant marlin.
That's the hard kind. The deep water fishing's easy. You're just like, let's wait. The freshwater's when they're doing all this fancy casts and picking the right bait for the sun and the water and the cover and the fish. Like that's.
I just imagine bringing in a marlin might give a strength advantage to a guy, but if the fish weighs 6 pounds or 4 pounds, then women are strong enough.
Men just like
tend to obsess over things much more, and so any hyper specific hobby, you're gonna have way more men than women who are interested in it. Like I would imagine, and also you're right about the ancestor thing. Like I think we have like tons of men just throughout history just did not fuck and have kids. Tons.
Here's the thing. You ever hear someone
did.
say, "Yeah, he's just talented at that thing." You know why? Because his great grandfather was talented at that thing, and that means he got to fuck a lot. There's a lot of people who are talented at jumping because their ancestors were too, and the guys who weren't good at jumping just couldn't get away from that thing, or maybe they just couldn't catch a woman to her. Frankly, it might have been that. You
think Thor Bjornsson was the first strong guy in his family? Like
lineage?
No, he came from a whole line of absolute monsters. Like you go back
taller than him. His brothers are taller.
Yeah, you go back 400 years, and he's like storming a monastery on the coast of England.
God. He would be. He's like a superpower in a world where you don't have machinery and like and electronics and stuff. Like he shows up. Three times, 4 times as strong as any other human being. Like the doors can't stop him. He's so big.
I wonder what he looks like without steroids.
Kenyon's rocket.
Let's agree he'd be just as tall and he'd be very strong. But without steroids, how big would he be?
He wouldn't. I mean, he'd still be that tall and
like ancient Viking Thor. Like I think he'd be the perfect big for smashing people, like whatever that would be.
For stealing golden crucifixes from
God,
religious sites.
His body's not the ideal for fighting.
No, it's the ideal for moving weight.
I don't know what fighting meant for them though. Like I don't think it meant squaring up necessarily as much as it meant chasing people down with an axe.
Yeah,
and just the Vikings would just roll up on your shore, and you didn't know you had trouble with Vikings. You might not even know what a Viking is. You may have never seen a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white dude that's 6'2", but there he is with all of his buddies. They just rolled up and they're here, and they don't want to talk. Like they're hacking the door down, screaming in fucking Scandinavian.
I imagine a Roman skilled with a spear beats him. Picture
they did
the poison guy from Game of Thrones.
The
played
Red
Last
Viper
of
of
Us.
Dorne. Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, all right. His character, I think, could beat Thor. There's some dude like that was just agile.
Interestingly enough, have you seen the whole trend of people being the girls ask their boyfriends, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? And
yes,
they're like, I don't know, like a couple times a week, maybe. But what you just mentioned, like the Romans conquered all of the Germanic Celtic people, all of Gaul, which was Eastern Europe. Like they conquered or Western Europe. They conquered all of that, and those were those people. I don't know how long that campaign went on for, but they were just. It's some of the things the Romans did are so wild. They just went to the other side of the world with tens of thousands of men. They bring like 80,000 soldiers and go conquer a continent and then build a road back and start taxing and shipping the gold home. And they just kept doing that until they owned so much of the world. It was so yeah. I guess I think about the most Empire a couple times a week.
Yeah, at least a couple times a week. It's the coolest empire ever.
I should think about Rome more because I don't know anything.
Yeah, Rome is so cool. 117. That's the peak of their expansion, I believe, right?
Like obviously, I'm the least knowledgeable geography wise, but I know that's fucking England up there in the top left.
Yeah. Looks like they've got Babylon and Britain. That's a big span. And unlike that nonsense where they're like, look at Genghis Khan's empire. It's like, you mean just a trail with burnt villages and no infrastructure and no production and a bunch of
this was a machine though.
This was an empire. Like
every one of those provinces is shipping gold by road and ship back to Rome. It's a machine. It was, and it's. I really like anything about Rome. I wish there was it's a shame that that TV show failed.
They should do more Rome historical shows. Those would slay.
There's a really good one on Netflix. There's a really good like Rome multi-episode, like the history of Rome. It's
Spartacus.
Very good. Spartacus is good. I mean, it is fairly historical.
Wait. You said Spartacus was good. Did you watch it to the end?
I watched one.
Disregard that.
Look, again, I'm good at reading books by covers. I could tell that I didn't want to watch that new guy, so I watched the first season, then the second season, which is like the prequel. And I disengaged because I knew it wasn't going to be good from there. I could tell. I could see it.
Yeah,
the writing was on the wall. The man died.
It ended really bad. Like, and the fight scenes that I enjoyed the fight scenes in the beginning. It was a different way to do videography around a fight. By the end, they just took it. It was like, all right, there's trouble. And they all start moving in slow-mo with blood splatters on the screen. And it got super bad.
Yeah, it's but for anyone who wants to see like another titty period piece, my goodness, seasons 1 and 2 of Spartacus, you'll never see as much cock and titty in a regular TV show ever. I think Showtime made it. Real good show, but
it's got Cinemax vibes.
Yeah, it's got I'm spacing out her name, but fucking Xena is in their top.
Lucy Lawless, am I right?
Lucy Lawless, New Zealand actress. Yeah,
man, that sucks. He died at 39 from cancer.
Ugh. I thought it was one of the lymphomas,
non-Hodgkin lymphoma.
Yeah, that's the bad one, I guess.
I mean, they're both probably bad.
You don't even mind the other kind. You're just like, do I have that too?
Do I have that too? Oh, rats! I've got lymphoma.
Not again.
It's going to ruin my weekend.
I have seasonal lymphoma.
Seasonal lymphoma.
It really flares up around the springtime.
Seasonal affective lymphoma. I get in a bad mood and die.
No, that guy was pretty cool. I don't recall his name. I do remember though that at the height of that show, I was Spartacus is a great show, and then he was in a Freddie W video, which is really cool.